Enjoy 1% merchant commission when you accept Lanka Pay cards. Contact these banks today.
For the last decade, the world saw a very promising growth and expansion of the global aviation industry with an average growth rate over 4.5%, registering the highest ever recorded numbers in respect of all key performance indicators in aviation.
Addressing the 41st session of the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO Assembly, Ports Shipping and Aviation Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva said, during the last decade the world showed a 4.5% growth rate in the aviation sector. However, with the rapid spread of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the global community had to experience severe predicament on the conduct of typical lifestyle. Travel and tourism were amongst the key industries affected, triggering economic downturn and social crisis, he said. The International Civil Aviation Organization Assembly, meeting once every 3 years, will hold its 41st session from September 27 to October 7. From 194 countries around the world, more than 2,500 delegates are gathering in Montreal, Canada to secure the highest possible standards in global aviation with a focus on its continued recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic.
I now invite Sri Lanka, the distinguished representative of Sri Lanka, His Excellency, you have the floor.
Madam President, President and Secretary General of ICAO, distinguished delegates. At the outset, I extend the warmest felicitation of the government and people of Sri Lanka to you, Madam President, on your election as the President of the 41st session of the ICAO Assembly. I consider it as a great privilege and distinct honor to have this opportunity to address this August Assembly as Minister in charge of Civil Aviation of Sri Lanka. As you all know, for the last decade, the world saw a very promising growth and expansion of the global aviation industry with an average growth rate over 4.5%, registering the highest ever recorded numbers in respect of all key performance indicators in aviation. However, with the emergence and rapid spread of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the global community had to experience, for the first time in the recent history of humanity, severe predicaments in the conduct of typical lifestyle. Of the many industries that affected due to COVID-19, travel and tourism were amongst the key industries affected, triggering major economic downturn and social crisis, such as connectivity, supply chain disruptions, the challenges to food security. Regardless of the geographical size and location and the economic strength, every state in the world was affected and is still struggling to come out from its adverse effect. We are glad that the projected prospect of aviation industry returning to pre-COVID situation is very promising. Madam President, Sri Lanka has a good road and rail transport network which provide access to any part of the island. Every citizen of Sri Lanka has access to an international airport within 100 kilometers from the place of domicile, which meet the global yardstick used for measuring accessibility by air. Sri Lanka's current population is 22 million as of 1st August 2022. A total of 40 million vaccine doses have been administered among its citizens, creating a low COVID-19 risk environment for the trade and travel within the country. This has enabled Sri Lanka to reopen its domestic and international airports, and restrictions imposed on travel and social gathering have been lifted. However, Sri Lanka is at present facing unprecedented economic challenges resulting from a number of factors, including aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic and current global crisis. The government of Sri Lanka is sensitive to the economic hardship faced by the people and is in dialogue with all stakeholders, including domestic and international partners, with regard to stabilizing the situation. in order to minimize the negative impact on the most vulnerable segments of the population and to ensure provisions of an adequate social safety net, targeted preventive measures are being undertaken by the government.
Thank you, the distinguished representative of Sri Lanka.
For more latest news, subscribe to FTTV.